Yeah, you think one more time, Sheila, or should I be respectful of it and see what happens? I'll wait.
I would wait like one more second.
Okay.
They seem like they're. Yeah, I think everyone's in here, so you can probably
Okay.
hear. Hello, everyone. If we could get all of the last minute stragglers into their seats, we have a busy, busy, and fun evening ahead. So we'd like to get started. Thank you. You got them going. Do you mind if we put this up here?
Oh, there you go.
There.
That's much better.
Okay. Now we'll see it better. Good evening, everyone. If we could begin our program, that would be wonderful. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to the 2022 Butterfly Bash. My name is Sheila Gray. I am one of the hosts of Good Morning Cincinnati on Local 12 News. And I'm so excited and just really honored to have been asked to be here tonight for this special moment as we come together to support and celebrate the very important work of Grant Us Hope. I'm very excited to be joined tonight by someone a lot of you already know, Mr. Scott Inski. For those who may not know, Scott is the former superintendent of Kettering Schools, and he has served as a board member of the Board of Advisors for Grant Us Hope since 2019. And we're all incredibly excited that as of 1 month ago, Scott is officially Grant Us Hope's new CEO.
Thank you, Sheila. And thanks to all of you for being here tonight. I'm so honored to be able to continue to serve our students, families, teachers, and community members in this new role. And like Sheila, very excited about tonight's program. Tonight is an incredibly special evening. We're all going to have a chance to hear firsthand the impact that this work is having. And I've had a chance to meet some of our speakers before this evening and hear their stories. And I can't wait for you to hear them as well.
So as a host of Good Morning Cincinnati and someone who is very, very proud of Cincinnati, and gosh, what a night. I don't think we've ever been prouder than we have at the start of Blink. I just want to say how wonderful it is that we're all coordinating the light of Blink with the light of Grant Us Hope, and that's perfect for tonight's theme. It's Light the Way. There are many, many great things of which to be proud here in Cincinnati, and I think Grant Us Hope is one of them. And Scott, we're thrilled that you and your team are here tonight to share Grant Us Hope's Light the Way for so many in our community who are struggling with mental health. And I'm so glad that we're more able to talk about it these days. So thank you all. We'll be back shortly for our formal program. And before we do that, I want to introduce Dave Conway, who's giving our convocation before our dinner. Dave?
Thank you. I'm actually Diane Egber's brother. And for those of you who said, must be your younger brother, I really appreciate the sentiment. This has been a great journey over the last long time. If you'll bow your head and we'll pray. Father God, we thank you for your presence here. We thank you for the power of the Holy Spirit. We'd ask a special blessing for all the young people in our community who may be hurting right now, that you would give them the courage to compel them to reach out. And when they reach out, one of these beautiful, compassionate, empathetic young people who serve in these Hope Squads would be there to potentially save their lives. And we pray fervently for that, Father. And we ask for a special blessing for this organization and for what it's doing in our community for young people. And we'd raise them up to you. And we also pray for the staff of Grant Us Hope, all the people that are here, that on their heart they will reach out and support the organization in ways that are critically important in our community. And a special prayer for the folks who prepared this food and those who will serve us. And we raise them all up in your Son's name. Amen.
Good job getting started. recognition. And of course, at the conclusion tonight is the Blink Light Show, which is supposed to be really amazing and something to see. And the venue here has some of the best viewing in Cincinnati. So that part of it will be fun, and we want to be ready for that. As a former board member of this organization and now the CEO of Grant Us Hope, we know how important philanthropy is to support our work. And that's why I'm so pleased to thank our sponsors. We will be more formally doing that later on in the program. They are all are on the tables. We just appreciate them so very much. And we'd also like to thank our Inspire and community level sponsors as well. Thank you. We're especially thankful for this support because our mission at Grant Us Hope is so important. As we take a look at the mission and vision of Grant Us Hope, we hope that as we discuss this with you tonight, you think about that as we are going through each of our pieces of conversation and presentation this evening. Our mission is to reduce youth suicide and promote mental health through collaborative evidence-based initiatives. It's the key. It is what we do. It is what our signature is to help youth and to help those kids. Hope Squad is a peer-to-peer evidence-based program that works within a school to reduce the stigma around mental health and suicide. Students are trained to identify at-risk students, provide friendship, and seek help from an adult. Hope Squad members try to create a safe school environment, promote connections, support anti-bullying with their peers, encourage mental wellness, reduce mental health stigma, and prevent substance misuse. Hope Squads are our flagship program. And with that, I want to talk about lighting the way, which is part of tonight's theme and something that we want to share with you. Here's my hope, that through our collective work, each of us in this room and everyone that's involved in this work, and those that are not here with us tonight, that we can eradicate suicide for children in our schools. I believe, and our team believes, that we can do this because I have seen firsthand that when Grant Us Hope is involved, it gives every teacher, child, and parent the pathways for helping one another so that we can avoid catastrophic events. When you support Grant Us Hope, you are the beacon of hope. You are the beacon of light. You light the way for those who are struggling with mental health. Here's how you can help us light the way. We know that suicide remains a leading cause of death for young people. That's why, through our collective efforts, that we hope to eradicate suicide. The work is intensive, it is important, and it does matter. The other evening, I was able to go down to the University of Cincinnati with a few of our staff members who were actually working with young people at the University of Cincinnati. And I'd never seen this QPR, question, persuade, refer, that they did that evening to teach two members, actually it was 40 young people from a sorority. I was amazed at the intensity of the young people, the quality of our staff's ability to be able to teach, and their willingness to try to help eradicate suicide at every level. Our focus, of course, is in the schools, which is first grade through 12th grade, but we realize it goes beyond that, and we're starting to realize that as well. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in youth ages 10 to 14, and the third leading cause of death in 15 to 24-year-olds. 15.08% of youth experienced a major depressive episode in the past year. Grant Us Hope has implemented Hope Squads in over 200 schools, with over 5,000 Hope Squad members providing hope through their schools. Grant Us Hope has trained over 1,000 adults in mental health support. This is phenomenal, and it's awesome what our staff has done and the leadership that is provided by them. Over 400,000 youth in Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky have access to Hope Squads. Our geographic regions that we serve are the whole state of Ohio. We are in Indiana from Indianapolis, essentially to the river, and from northern Kentucky to Louisville. That is the regions that we serve. But more important than the numbers are the lives that are being saved. And that's why I'm so excited to have members of our community here with us tonight to share their stories. Now I would like for you to meet two inspirational people who will share their stories of hope, demonstrating firsthand how they have been able to light the way. Each represents two of how Grant Us Hope can light the way, by lighting the way for hope in our schools, in our homes, and in our communities. To begin, I'd like to read a letter first that I received from an anonymous parent back during the summer. Dear Grant Us Hope, my daughter is a high school freshman. I know she was going through a hard time, but I didn't know how serious it was. She didn't feel comfortable talking to me or other adults. Luckily, she did feel comfortable confiding in a Hope Squad member at her school. I got a call from school administration after a football game. They told me that a Hope Squad member had let them know that my little girl was considering taking her life. This is a call I'd never thought I would receive. But because of Hope Squad, we're able to get my daughter the help she needed before it was too late. I will never stop being grateful. Please continue to make this possible for other students. Donate now. Gratefully, Joe. Next, I would like to introduce a speaker that's from one of our schools. I'm so proud of this young man. As I mentioned earlier, I've been the superintendent of Kettering City Schools for the last 8 years. I'm honored tonight to have the new superintendent of Kettering here, Mindy McCarty Stewart, who is an awesome representative of the school district and going to make it a better place. I keep telling her that. I'm so proud of her and looking forward to following her many successes. I'd like to introduce to you the first of our two speakers, Tyler Alexander. Tyler's the principal of Kettering Fairmont High School. I do want to say before Tyler comes up, you'll notice all of our administrative team are 6'5" to 6'9". This is how we operate. That's how we get things done. Tyler will share his story about how Grant Us Hope lights the way for hope in our schools. Tyler?
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Diane, for having me here tonight. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be able to speak to all of you. On behalf of everyone at Kettering Fairmont High School, I'd like to thank each of you for your support of Grant Us Hope and Hope Squads across the state of Ohio and our country. As principals, we're used to dealing with a lot of tough issues. But when we lose a student to suicide, it's a tragedy that you can't prepare for. In the spring of 2019, we had a student take his life. Less than 24 hours before, we had just completed our first nomination process for our first Hope Squad. The fact that we had completed this process just 24 hours before losing one of our students hit hard. We did not yet have the supports in place from our Hope Squad at FHS. Grant Us Hope was there for us, providing us with resources and support. They helped us navigate a very challenging time, and we were incredibly thankful for that help and support. The tragic event really drove home the need for us to bring more awareness to suicide prevention into our building for both our students and our staff. One outcome from this experience was a new sense of urgency for our Hope Squad, and so we committed 100% to having a Hope Squad. As you can imagine, it's not easy to start new initiatives at schools. We faced early challenges. Who gets nominated and who doesn't? We had to spend some time educating our community about what Hope Squad is. We had to teach our community about what Hope Squads were and what they weren't, how Hope Squad students aren't meant to be counselors, but their eyes and ears in our schools to recognize the mental health crisis among their peers, then get the attention of adults. We show our commitment to Hope Squads by offering a class with credit issued yearly towards high school graduation. We want students to know that we value their time and commitment to the mission of Hope Squad. This is hard work, and even though we had this great new initiative designed to do so much good, we continue to face the challenges of mental health crises because so much is still unknown. Tragically, last spring we lost another student to suicide. This was a tough time for our Firebird community, especially our Hope Squad members. There was sadness and anger. They wondered if they had missed anything and processed what they could have done differently. We talked about what we can continue to do differently and how we can continue to educate. But we also realized, even during this time of loss, how much of our school's culture and community had changed. And this is when we really started to understand the power of Hope Squad. It's not just about suicide prevention. It's about changing how we think and talk about mental health and suicide prevention. It brings positivity into a world that is too often negative, especially for our young people. Sure, you can read about the mission of Hope Squad, but until you've implemented it, you don't see how it changes the culture of people, both the students and the adults. I'll share just one more thought with you. It's so important that everyone here tonight knows just how resilient our young people are. In places like schools where it's often the adults out in front, this is something that puts our young people out in front. They become part of the decision making. They become empowered to be leaders, to look out for their peers, and to be there for each other. I want to thank each of you for believing in and empowering our students, and for supporting Grant Us Hope and our Hope Squads. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler, for your leadership, for your support and your guidance. It's appreciated so very, very much. The next recognition this evening that we are, again, so excited to be able to recognize this evening. Our second speaker tonight is Lexi Fields. Lexi is a Home Squad alum. I'd like to ask Lexi to come up front, please. While Lexi's coming up, so many of you tonight, I hope, had the opportunity to talk to some of the students that were here this evening. I can't tell you how impressive they are. And that's one of the things about Hope Squads, along with many of our youth today, is they get a bad rap. We have great kids. We have really great parents who are caring for these kids, and guardians and grandparents that are here this evening. Lexi is one of them, and Lexi, we're proud of you, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. My name is Lexi Fields. I am a current junior at Miami University, and most importantly, a very proud Hope Squad alum. I'm here today because my Hope Squad peers quite literally saved my life. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression at the young age of 11. At the time, mental health was not something that was talked about anywhere, especially in homes, and particularly my home. My parents really had no idea what mental health was or what came along with the diagnosis that I was given at such a young age. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to be placed in therapy and able to receive professional support to learn coping skills and ways to manage my disorders. In high school, our school was fortunate enough to be selected as one of the pilot schools for Hope Squad. I had been trying for years to help my peers in some way, as I could see they were struggling as I did in the past. I didn't know where to start, and when we finally implemented Hope Squad, I was overjoyed that it would finally be addressed in our school. Thankfully, I was nominated to the team. At the same time, however, my depression started to take over again, worse than it ever had before, and I didn't have the skills to deal with it. I relied on self-harm and unhealthy coping skills to deal, and I felt that if pain was physical, it was real and valid, and if it was mental, it wasn't, and that's something that I've had to learn over time. I started to feel hopeless. I saw myself as a burden, and I determined that there was no way out. I was stuck. Here I was, a Hope Squad member and a student leader, one that was supposed to have her life together and know how to deal with everything all at once, but instead I was suffering and isolating and keeping it to myself. I felt like such a hypocrite. Here's the thing, it's so hard to ask for help. We, as people who ask for help, have to set aside the pride and fear of judgment to wave that white flag. We actually don't give enough credit to people that do. So if you're one of those, I want to acknowledge you right now and say that that is such a hard thing to do. Thank you. I knew that if I were to bring this up to anyone or make a big deal of it, I would be an even bigger burden than I had determined I already was. So I kept it to myself and I battled alone. About 6 months after being hospitalized at the beginning of my junior year of high school, I once again felt extremely hopeless and depressed. Therapy wasn't working, my previous hospitalization didn't really do anything to help, and I had given up trying. I decided on a Wednesday that Thursday would be my last day. We had a Hope Squad meeting that Thursday. I started to say goodbye to all of my friends at school, knowing that I wouldn't return to school the next day. I wanted them to know that I loved them and was so grateful for them and everything that they'd done for me over the years, but I didn't want to draw attention to how out of place it was or out of the blue these sincere goodbyes were. I had been unusually quiet and reserved for the previous weeks, as many people are, and this sudden change sounded the alarms. While saying goodbye to my Hope Squad peers in particular, one of them recognized these behaviors as warning signs. She realized what I was doing, even though I thought it was very coded and very well put on. She then pulled me aside and used QPR on me, question, persuade, refer, what Hope Squad students learn to use when helping their peers who are struggling to see if they need additional support and to evaluate the situation. Even though I understood what was happening every step of the discussion, I mean, they were using QPR on me. I knew it inside and out. My goodness. It worked. It worked, and I was referred for additional life-saving support, even though I could identify when we were switching from question to persuade. Because of this, I stand here talking to you all tonight. Thank you. Now, there's so much more to this story, but I'll leave you with a few thoughts. First, this work is so hard. No one can do it alone. My family in particular had to learn along with me how to build a safe, supportive environment for me at home as I tried to navigate school and work life through all of this. As I mentioned earlier, my family and community didn't talk about mental health during this time, but I was so lucky that they learned to be partners with me and supported me through my journey during my attempts, my hospitalizations in high school, and to this day. I still, to this day, have to continue to be self-aware of my own signs. I look for early symptoms much like when you get a cold. When I feel those first signs of a severe depressive episode or suicidality, I know to take action. I still deal with my mental health issues even now, but I have the skills and resources to live a happy, fulfilling life. Second, building communities is absolutely critical. That's why Hope Squads are so important. They create peer communities, help alleviate the stigma of mental illness and suicide, particularly within high schools, and identify students who need support oftentimes before their families, friends, and others around them. Suicide is not a bad word, and recognizing that starts with talking about it. Now that I'm a college student at Miami University, I continue to build these communities. I started an organization on campus called Miami Hope, and with the help and inspiration of Grant Us Hope, it is a student-run, peer-to-peer organization devoted to suicide prevention and mental health awareness on campus. Thank you. We try to continue to provide the life-saving work that Grant Us Hope has started, but on a college campus. Finally, I want to close by saying thank you for your presence here tonight. If you were to tell me 10 years ago that I would be speaking in a room full of people all gathered together to support mental health, I would have been in complete disbelief. Keep showing up, keep talking about it, and please keep supporting this field, because you are changing the world through that, whether you know it or not, and breaking the stigma. To be in a space full of people coming together for a cause that was so hush-hush for much of my life is truly remarkable, and I can't truly express my gratitude for this moment. Thank you.
Tyler and Lexi, thank you so much for your stories, for your inspiration, and for the hope that you give all of us. It is now my pleasure and honor to introduce to you Board Chair, founder of Grant Us Hope, Diane Egbers. Diane.
Okay, how do you follow Lexi and Tyler? That's the question. Oh my. So thank you, Scott. I am so happy to have you as part of the Grant Us Hope organization as CEO. We stand to support now your leadership and your vision for the future of Grant Us Hope. And thanks for the warm welcome to me. I appreciate each of you being here. And tonight, it's such a wonderful, it's such a wonderful community, and it means so much to me that you've taken the time to join us tonight. When I started Grant Us Hope in 2016, I wanted a way to honor Grant's legacy. And by doing our part, this is going to be the last generation of teens we lose to suicide. When I was at the cemetery this afternoon with my son, he gives me strength every time I spend time with him. I could just hear him saying, "You go, Mom." And I'm so grateful now for the life of my son. To see the support in this room and to hear again Tyler and Lexi's stories, it reinforces just how important this work is. Knowing that there's hope in our homes, hope in our schools, hope in our communities. That's the power of this organization. Sometimes we can't change how much our students and families struggle and suffer, but we can light a pathway through the darkness toward hope. together. And there's so much hope in this very room. Each of you light the way toward hope and being part of the Grant Us Hope community. And when we all come together for such a critical cause, wow, is our collective light shining. I would say the city tonight is lit up because of the strength of the hope in this room. Grant Us Hope, now we have a great opportunity to provide some recognition. And we have a special award that we don't give every year, and sometimes we give a couple. The Grant Us Hope Award is a special award given in recognition of extraordinary contribution. And there are 2 individuals over this past year among so many that have worked tirelessly for this cause, both in leadership acceleration and within Grant Us Hope. And those times that you make appointments for me, facilitate payroll, train Hope Squad kids, work together to provide new programs, facilitate retreats, respond to schools in crisis, every one of those things matter, and we're grateful to you. Back to the award, the 2 that we want to recognize. One, the first one, is our very own storyteller, my co-author in This Is Real, a book to be published in 2023. His countless hours of time and his amazing talent and dedicated help to tell our story around supporting parents with kids in mental health crisis. A heartfelt, grateful thank you to Mark Terranova. And secondly, I'd like to acknowledge our interim COO. Her outstanding leadership and grace under pressure this year was beautiful to behold. She leaned in every day, went above and beyond. Her dedication, I just marvel at. In this transition, she made a difference for our team, a difference to every school that we serve. Becky Reeder, please come up here. We're back to Scott.
Next, we have some amazing presentations, and I'm going to be joined by my co-host, Sheila Gray, who's been kind enough to be here tonight. We're having a little side conversation, and we need to give her a gigantic round of applause. She's a parent, she's a mom, she's out doing this because she cares. Sheila, thank you for being here tonight. So we have an award that is not on the schedule, is not on the event as far as how we're doing this tonight, because if we did, this person would have known and would not have been very happy. So It has been very nice to be the CEO of Grant Us Hope. The 5 weeks have been very enjoyable. I am joking. I am teasing. Tonight, we want to give an award to Diane Egbers. As we took a look at the traits that represent this organization of caring, kindness, hard work, dedication, honesty, love, and I'm telling you, a work ethic that goes beyond anything that I've ever experienced in my life. And I got to tell a quick story because I know it's off task, but I retired, you know? And next thing you know, I've got a call from Diane Egbers, you know? And if you know Diane, you don't say no. And but when my wife Terry and I talked about it and we thought about it spiritually, it was something that meant a lot to us because we knew it would make a difference. And if I knew that I could do something to help her while also making sure that it helped this organization, then it was worth it. And we're going to do the very best we can to keep us growing, to eradicate teen suicide. And with that, Diane, we want to give you an award for all that you have done here and for Grant Us Hope. Thank you. Sheila and I now have the honor of presenting our Inspire Awards.
So tonight's Inspire Awards will recognize the hard work and dedication of 2 of our Hope Squad students and 1 of our Hope Squad advisors.
Our Hope Squad Award for Inspire is presented to our first Hope Squad student, Alexia Morgan of Eaton High School. Alexia?
Hi, my name is Alexia Morgan. I'm from Eaton High School. So when I was nominated by my peers, at first I knew what Hope Squad was because we had a little introduction, but I wasn't completely sure. But then Grant Us Hope came and they explained like Hope Squads, what they do. We had a little orientation and I was like, whoa, this is really cool and really big. I get to help so many people and I've learned that I've helped a lot of people from schools outside of my county, schools in my county, middle schoolers, and just a lot of people in general. I've also gotten to educate a lot of people on suicide prevention and how to deal with things. And when it comes to like QPR and stuff, I've had adults ask me what it is and like how they can use it. They may not have had anything that they've had to use it for, but for future reference. So Hope Squad's a really big deal to me. My Hope Squad this year has been trying to do monthly activities and get everybody in our school knowing what Hope Squad is. Hope Squad started when I was in 7th grade, and so it wasn't quite known, but now throughout Eaton and all of our county, it's pretty well known. Everybody comes to Hope Fair, which is at the end of the year. It's normally the first week of May. And so we have Hope Week all week, and then Hope Fair is on Friday. And we have had people from Richmond, Indiana, which is right next to Eaton, Ohio. And people from all over come just to Hope Fair because they saw a flyer and were interested in what Hope Squad was and how they could support. So it's grown a lot from what it was when it first started at Eaton.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Proud of you. Our next Hope Squad student recognition is Danny DeWeese of Hilliard-Davidson High School in Columbus. Danny?
Can I move?
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so just a little more. When I was in 7th grade, and I was called down to the guidance office, which thankfully didn't happen a lot. I remember them explaining to me that my peers have nominated me as someone who they think is trustworthy and someone who they can talk to about their mental health. And to me, I was really honored that people wanted to talk to me out of everyone to help. And I was so touched that people saw me as a safe person. I saw the other people that were chosen as well, like my other peers that were chosen, and those are the people that I look up to, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm one of them. People trust me, like people want to talk to me. And since then, I saw how amazing that this program is, and it became my passion, like since that day on. I go to Hilliard-Davidson High School, and I believe that we are a remarkable group of students, and I think our best accomplishment is probably the selection of our kids, because I look around at all the meetings and I see a room filled with children that have the same passion as I do, which is helping with mental health. And I think another one of our accomplishments is just teaching the rest of my school that if you see something, to say something, and that it's okay to not be okay. Personally, this is my 5th year on Hope Squad, and I've talked at like a bunch of conferences, and I plan to again coming up in November. We also have a leadership conference coming up that I plan to attend, and some of my goals are probably just removing the stigma in my school, like just Davidson and throughout the community, that it's okay to not be okay. And I want people to know that like our club is really important, and I want people to know what we do and who we are, so that if anyone needs any help, they know who to go to and what resources they need. Thank you.
Thank you. If we could quickly, I know both Alexia and Danny were accompanied this evening by parents and guardians. Would you please stand and be recognized, because you're amazing. Thank you very much. Next, it is an honor to introduce the Hope Squad Advisor of the Year for our Butterfly Bash. And I am honored to introduce to you Mrs. Jessica Stickle of Kettering Fairmont High School. Here's the fun part about this. I get to talk to her and we do a little interview, which is kind of fun. She didn't know I was going to do this either, which is why I did it this way. Jessica, one of the things that I know that has been so powerful for you is Hope Squads and the things that you do for kids. Can you describe a little bit about that? Kettering Fairmont is a big high school. It's got about 2,500 students in it, probably a little bit over 175 employees. How do you go about working with kids and helping them make a difference each and every day?
I am so lucky that Hope Squad is a class period, because I get to see those kids every single day. And the Grandest Hope curriculum, that Grandest Hope brings us curriculum through Hope Squad, and it is fabulous. But that's only about a quarter's worth of curriculum. In the rest of the year, we are able to do outreach for our students. We are able to really dig deep into what they are facing and the problems and challenges that are unique to teenagers. I'm getting kind of old, according to my students, and they open my eyes every single day to the challenges that are different than they were when I was a teenager, that are different than they were when I started teaching 18 years ago. And it is just such an honor to be able to learn from them and advocate with them.
Jessica, if you were to say characteristics, if you would, of students that are on a Hope Squad, what would those top 3 or 4 things be?
Passionate about everything. Mental health, of course, but kids today are so passionate. They love and feel with their whole hearts in a way that is just so inspiring to see day in and day out. And of course, caring. They bring up ideas and challenges that I never knew existed. Apparently, twinning at school, like for a spirit week, has caused so much stress to teenagers in the last 10 years. Any parents in here have a twin day for at their school that brought stress to your house? I didn't know this existed until my Hope Squad brought it to my attention. So passionate, caring, and excited. They are excited about the opportunities to make changes in their world. They are excited to make a difference, and they are excited to be part of this new generation of people who are willing to talk about their feelings, willing to seek help and speak up when they need help.
Jessica, I'm proud of you. Congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to tell one more quick story. I do that a lot, so if it's starting to get on your nerves, I got the mic, so I want to recognize some people before we get into the next part of our evening, which is getting right into our auction. I didn't really know what to tell Jessica. We were trying to keep it quiet. She was nominated by the staff, and I appreciate them so very, very much, but I didn't tell her what to wear. And so luckily, one of our staff that I'll introduce in a moment said, Scott, that's a guy thing. I'll call Jessica myself, because she looks beautiful this evening. Her husband's here with her. They have children at home. I hope that they're got a great babysitter and they can enjoy Blink tonight. But Mr. and Ms. Stickle, thank you. Thank you both very much for what you do for kids. Next, very quickly, I just want to recognize the folks that do this work each and every day. They're the staff at Grant Us Hope. I do want you to know we're a lean group of folks. They work hard and they put in a lot of time, and many of them are working part-time. They aren't full-time employees, and I am going off script a little bit, I know that, but I wanted to make sure I recognized them this evening, and I'd like to ask them to stand up, please, if they would. Vicki Clark. Kelly Casper. Lisa Carter. Sandy Kaufman, who I don't think, was Sandy here this evening? I didn't see Sandy. She gets a round of applause. Lori McNeil. And Emily Mongelli, who is from Montgomery County. I don't think she's here this evening either, so. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Sheila.
I get to talk again.
Yes, ma'am.
Woohoo! Hey. One more round of applause, please, though, for all of our amazing speakers and award winners this evening. It's so inspirational to be part of this night, so thank you again. Scott, I know that I speak for everybody when I say thank you for all the staff and the volunteers and the partners and students and your leadership, which lights the way every day for those in mental health crisis. And again, thank you, Diane, for starting this whole thing, because you're a true inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you. There's no way we could do this work without the support of everyone in this room. So on behalf of all of us at Grant Us Hope, we thank each of you for your commitment to making this last generation of young people not have to die from suicide. They don't have to. We can make that and be eradicated from all of youth's lives in the United States and in our area today. That is our goal. We will do this by ending the stigma around mental health and providing every student with the support they need when they need it. So let's finish this amazing program tonight by seeing how much support that we can raise this evening to make a difference. I do want to bring a couple things to your attention. The silent auction does close at 8:30. So if you've got your phones and you were working on that, if you don't want to use your phones, we do have the ability to make those types of commitments to Brian. Brian is over here on this side. Check or credit card, correct, Brian? Cash. That works as well. But tonight is truly all about supporting this amazing organization. And I want to first recognize those sponsors that are our Inspire level sponsors. First of all, Leadership Acceleration, General Electric Credit Union, the Educational Service Center of Central Ohio, the Montgomery County Educational Service Center, the John and Sherry Sawyer Charitable Fund, and United Healthcare. I want to also thank our community sponsors. One of them was here this evening, Cincinnati International Wine Festival, Tony's Steak and Seafood, Bill and Shelley DeVille, and the Engage Company. Thank you very much. All right, I got to tell you another story. You guys are like, oh, does he ever stop? So Tuesday, we found out that the individual that was going to assist us this evening with an auction was not going to be able to attend. So I'm sure it came from a place that I won't discuss, but then Rebecca Reeder, who you saw come up earlier, clearly is what I call the velvet hammer, because she said, Scott, I bet you can do the live auctions. Well, I said, okay. And, everybody says YouTube, right? And so I don't know that I'll be able to walk through that quite very eloquently, because, they go to school to learn how to do live auctions. But I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to have a little fun. I'm going to try to have a little fun. And I want you to see this. It's at your table. There is a QR code. There should be enough there for everybody. It's about wanting to help save a life. Okay? And those things are there. And as we go through our next 3 items, then also we do have a few other recognitions that we want to do as well this evening. But we're going to start with the first item that we have.
I'm just going to say goodnight, because auctions are not my thing. They might be Scott's thing, but they're not mine, and I got to go to bed. But thank you all so much. It was great to see you all. Thank you, Scott.
I think Sheila starts work at 3 a.m., 3:30, something like that in the mornings. Thanks again, Sheila. Appreciate your time. They can't? Okay. So the first item tonight that we're going to auction off, that the auctioneer is going to attempt to auction off, is number 500. I know some of you are trying to get on. I'm sure I've heard that there's a little bit of difficulty maybe to get into the app if there's some things that you're trying to do. But number 500 is the use of a BMW for the weekend. It's been donated by the BMW store, plus a $200 gift certificate to Tony's Steakhouse. We're going to start the bidding tonight for that at $500. Do I have anyone interested in $500 for $500? We've got these right here. These are able to, if they go up, got $500 for the BMW. I don't know how to do things very fast, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to say it again. $500 for the BMW for the weekend. $200 gift certificate at Tony's. All right, let's start down at a little different number. Let's go ahead and see if we can start it at $300. Can we start the bidding at $300? Use of the BMW. I have $300 right here at this table. $300, $350, $400. Do we have $400? $400 at this table. Do we have $450? $450. Do we have $500? Do we have $500? Going once. I'd like to be quick. I don't know how to do that. Sold. Thank you, Candace. Thank you very much. Congratulations. The next item we have this evening is item number 501. It's Savor, which is another cool event going on here in Cincinnati. It's a chef's table, a fresh take on a classic dinner series presented by Cincinnati Magazine at Hard Rock Casino. It is November 11th. It is a 5-course dining experience for 10 people with thoughtfully selected wine pairings at Hard Rock Casino, an all-exclusive cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres, live chef demos, a signature swag bag, and free parking. This has been donated tonight by our generous Diane at Leadership Acceleration. This is valued at $1,500. We're going to start the bidding tonight at $700. Do I have $700 for this event? I have $700. Do I have $750 for this event? $750. Do I have $800 for this event? $800. $800. Do I have $850? $850. Do I have $900 for the event? $900 for the event. I have $900. I have $900 for this event. $950. Do I have $1,000? We have $1,000 right here to the left. Do I have $1,050? $1,050. Thank you. Do I have $1,100 for the event? $1,100 for the event. $1,500. Just got $1,500 for the event. You know, I'm pretty good at this. I need to do this. That was pretty good. Thank you. We have $1,500. Do I have another $1,550? $1,550. $1,500 going once, going twice. Sold. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I thank you for your patience. $1,550. I missed it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. The gentleman right there, $1,550. Do I have $1,600? Okay, I'm trying to scan the crowd. $1,550. Going once. $1,550. Going twice. Sold to the gentleman. Thank you. Again, when I took this on, I knew there were implications. This person is on the board. So again, it has been nice working with you at Grant Us Hope. The last auction item that we have is another special item. It's a bourbon trail tour for 6 plus 4 bottles of bourbon provided by Leadership Acceleration. Angel's Envy Distillery and Bardstown Bourbon Company bourbons, along with Woodford Reserve, Hard Truth Maple Bourbon Cream, Frickulin from Bardstown Bourbon, Blanton's Original Single Barrel, Spiced Cherry Bitters from Woodford Reserve, and a tasting. This is valued at $1,200. I would like to start the bidding at $600. I would like to start the bidding at $1,000. I would like to start the bidding at $1,000. Do I have $1,000? $1,000. Do I have $1,050? $1,050. Do I have $1,050? $1,050. Do I have 1,100? Do I have 1,100? I saw $1,100. I have 1,100. Do I have $1,150? $1,150. One more time, $1,150. $1,150. Do I have $1,200? I have $1,200. Do I have $1,250? Do I have $1,250 for this event? $1,500 for this event. Do I have $1,550 for this event? $1,550. Do I have $1,600 for this event? Do I have $1,600? I have $2,000 for this event. Do we have $2,100 for this event? $2,100. $2,100. I have $2,100. Do we have $2,200 for the event? $2,200 for the event. Make sure I didn't see anybody. Last call, $2,200. Yes. Correct. It is. Yes. $2,200. Going once, going twice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, John. Again, on your tables tonight, this evening, there's a card that says, I want to help save a life. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share how funds raised this evening will help support our mission in these areas and ask you to raise that card at the level you would like to donate. We hope by the end of this portion of the program that everyone in the room will have considered raising their cards. Please note there are always two ways to donate during this portion. You can click on the QR code on the back side of the card, which is right there in front of you, which will take you to our website that we're using this evening. Or if you would like to donate by cash or check, again, Brian Cunningham is in the back. Brian's back there waving his hand. So let's get started at our first level. This first level is very significant. It's a group of people that clearly do an awful lot for us here at Grant Us Hope. I want to ask that you consider joining Dave and Leanne Conway, Jack and Carol Horvath, the John and Sherry Sawyer Foundation that have committed $10,000 each to help support the introduction of a Hope Squad in a new high school, giving hope to students, parents, teachers, and staff. We hope that you would consider joining them in this very generous commitment. If you'd like, raise your card if you're interested in doing that. If anyone is interested in doing that this evening, we'd love to have that. Or, of course, anonymously or privately, you can do that using the QR code as well. Thank you. Next, we would like to ask for the next level of contribution, which is a $5,000 contribution. This helps sustain an existing Hope Squad in a junior high or middle school, allowing programs to grow and save lives. Please think about doing that this evening as well. We have these cards in front of you. Please consider doing that this evening as well, please. Thank you very much. Or we would also be interested, if you have the ability to want to do this, an in-kind donation of time from a marketing organization or a funding organization of $5,000 for website design that will help Grant Us Hope educate and destigmatize mental health for the entire community. That would be an in-kind contribution that would be accepted and welcomed as well. Next is a $2,500 contribution. This contribution helps support the introduction of a Hope Squad in a new intermediate or elementary school, shedding light on the early stages of the mental health crises in our community and surrounding states where we're involved. Again, that is $2,500. Next is slide 38. This is a $1,500 contribution that helps provide training. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Anybody else that wants to do that? Big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next is a $1,500 contribution that helps provide training for 50 people. You heard QPR mentioned this evening. It's the life-saving CPR for mental health and provides light as a beacon of hope. That's $1,500. Do I have anybody willing? We have two here. We have two here willing to do that this evening. Thank you so much for your generous contribution. Thank you very, very much. Next is a $1,000 contribution that helps provide post-vention support and comfort to students and staff in the days and weeks that follow an unexpected death of a student. $1,000. If anyone's interested in doing that this evening, we would love to have your contribution for that as well. We would appreciate that so very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. I see somebody over here. Thank you very much. Anybody else interested in that contribution as well? Thank you. Remember, also you can do the QPR, do the code, please, right here, QR code on your card that should be in front of you. Next is a $500 donation. This helps provide all the necessary training for a Hope Squad advisor who uses their knowledge to educate their Hope Squad members and destigmatize mental illness. We have one here, we have one there. Thank you, thank you. Is anyone else interested? We have two here, Brian. We have two here behind the table, one behind the table. Thank you, Candace, thank you. Thank you, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it very much. Next is a $250 donation that helps us to provide a parent programming session on topics that help prevent suicide. Brian, we have a couple more over here as well. Next is a $250 donation that helps us provide a parent programming session on topics that help prevent suicide, such as the impact of social media, youth mental health, that can help save young lives. $250. We have one in the back, two in the back. We have one here. We have one here, Brian. We have three. We have three over here, Brian, on this side of the room. Anybody else? $250. We have four, Brian. We have four. We have four. Brian needs the exercise. $250. Everything helps. We appreciate you so very much. $250. Brian, we have quite a few cards that are still up in the back. Thank you, sir. Next is a $100 contribution that helps send a Hope Squad student to a life-changing Grant Us Hope Leadership Conference. $100 contribution. Anybody interested tonight? $100 contributions. Brian, we have a few over here willing to give those contributions. We have one right here, Brian. I see a couple of, get your cards up, please. That way Brian can get to you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Give everybody a round of applause that's doing this major contribution for you this evening. While we're doing that, silent auction was closing at 8:30, so it's 8:35, so that should be closed at this time. Those should be done. And I want to close tonight with this. You're all amazing. We appreciate you so very, very much. We hope to be able to announce a total here that we will have very quickly based on the information that we are receiving. If you're a winner, you will receive a text letting you know you won. Please make your way to the auction area so we can give your items to you tonight before you leave. As the evening winds down, I want to thank each of you for being here this evening and for your support of Grant Us Hope. I'd also like to thank our sponsors again for their continuing investment into our programming. We cannot do it without all of you. Please feel free to enjoy a carousel ride upstairs before you leave. And of course, we hope you brought a little bit of walking shoes so you'll be able to go outside and enjoy Blink. It was nice of them to bring the Eyes Up drone show to the banks at 9 p.m. for our benefit tonight. I've heard the wind might create a problem with that a little bit, but we will see. I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight. Safe travels home. We hope to see you again next year. Thank you so much. Have a good night.